See, I've been waiting all my life just to be with you right now. Let's not waste a minute of this, it could all let go somehow. I've been waiting on my love, yes I have. I've been waiting on my love.
If it's happening, been a dream, I wanna go now, I wanna be seen. Forget the way of anybody's heart, I just wanna get out before it starts to hurt me. Don't hurt me.
Hold on to the secret sound. Hold on to the secret sound. Hold on to the secret sound.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I am so happy to be doing this third of 4 live stream shows. It's my virtual tour. And today I'm really lucky to have Liz Stringer and Colin Lilly with me all the way from Australia, or maybe I'm all the way from Canada. But wherever you are, I'd like to begin this show by just acknowledging that even though it is virtual, this is happening on a lot of different ancestral lands. And today I am coming to you from the unceded and traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq people of Prince Edward Island. And our wonderful technician, Guillermo, is in the Toronto area, and that is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is also home to many diverse Inuit, Métis, and First Nations peoples. So wherever you are, welcome. Thank you for coming. It's been a real nice journey for me to be doing this, and I'm going to introduce you to Liz and Colin, and then we'll bring them on. But Liz Stringer is in Melbourne, and I think we'll talk about it a bit, but she's been in lockdown basically forever. So really grateful that she's here with us. She is one of Australia's most admired songwriters and instrumentalists, and she's an incredible performer, writer, guitarist. Basically, when I grow up, I would like to be Liz Stringer. She spent a lot of time in Canada, and that's how I first met her. Actually, was through my friend Melanie Mills, who was kind enough to have her basically on my road, and I got to hear her and become a super huge fan. So when I got to go to Woodford and was asked to be part of an event honoring Liz, I was so excited, and that the event was to honor her as an emerging legend of Australian song, and that is. It was just an amazing experience to feel all the love and admiration that people feel for her. There was hundreds of people all cheering her on. Her latest release is called First Time Feeling, and she just released a beautiful live version of The Waning of the Sun, so you got to check those out. Colin Lilly, he is a one-of-a-kind gypsy Scotsman who has found his way to Alice Springs in the Australian Central Desert, where he's thriving as a songwriter. I know that is a very special and powerful landscape, and I'm sure it has changed his life in lots of ways and his writing. He's released some beautiful records and EPs, including this year's album, Shades of Love, and most recently, Colin released the single, The War. In 2019, we were both bumping around a lot of different places and about to have our busiest years, and I kept being in the same place as Colin. We were at Woodford together and in New Orleans at Folk Alliance, but we didn't actually really meet until after the pandemic kind of shut the world down, and a bunch of agencies started this project called the Global Music Match, and we got teamed up. We were on Team 6. So I feel like I know him really well, but I don't know that we've actually officially met in person. So anyway, I'm happy to have two of my favorite humans on the show today. Please welcome Liz and Colin. Hello to both of you. Hi.
Hey.
So all our times were a little wrong. It's later for you both than we expected. Is that right?
I mean,
what is time?
Exactly. What is time?
What is time? Although I have been saying it is quite late here. I was just saying to Colin that I do usually go to bed. I think because in lockdown there's like nothing to do, and we had a curfew as well. So I've just been going to bed at 9. So this is way past my bedtime now.
Yeah.
Feeling like quite an adult actually, which is good.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like maybe, who knows what will happen after 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
How is it there in Colin? It's starting to warm up in the desert.
Yeah, we're starting to get warm. We had some nice cool weather, nice dog walking weather, but it's now you either have to go extremely early in the morning or it's late at night in the dark, and where I go walking there's a few dingoes, so we don't really want to take the dogs up that way, so dingoes and roos, which is
Right.
great.
The roos aren't as like vicious as the dingoes.
Oh yeah, they're crazy. They want to take the dog. The dogs go chasing the roos, and the roos just turn around and go, "Come on in," because these are Alice Springs kangaroos. They're not your standard kangaroo, They're tough kangaroos here,
Okay. Well, we do not have dingoes or kangaroos, but we do have coyotes. But it seems my dog just kind of sends them running, I guess. But I should mention to everybody who's watching that there is a tip jar, and someone will post a link to that. So if you feel like supporting us 3 artists here today, that would be really appreciated. And I'm just really excited to dig into the songs and the stories and to be with you all tonight. So maybe I'll just kick it over to you right away, Liz.
Sure. I'm going to start with a song called Dangerous. This is a song, I released an album in April this year, and we had, miraculously, I got to play 2 hometown gigs, and then that was it. Everything got shut down again and all the rest of my touring stopped. But so even though the record is like 6 months old since release, it feels like it's just kind of been dormant for most of that time, living in a cave. This is a song from that record, which I actually incidentally made in Toronto. And I also want to acknowledge that I'm on Wurundjeri country here and pay my respects to elders past and present. And I walk in dreams and in waking with respect and with profound mindfulness as a migrant Australian. So yeah, this is called Dangerous. This is not my song. This is a song of a couple who I met after a show in northern New South Wales. And it's from his wife's perspective, but it's about, he told me his story of sobriety. I'm sober and, I get to talking to a lot of people about that. And this was his story. Very generous people. Was quite the whirlwind. Married by the time I was 19, living in a prefab out in Cremorne. The force of a fire front was raging in you. We fucked like we fought, fresh from the sinew. No greater fever between any two. And you'd say, darling, sometimes I feel dangerous. Darkness stretching, no light, no way. Dangerous. You quit the Navy, got your union tats, and with your land legs, your great thirst came back, while your children grew up quiet in another room. Packed it in when I packed up the kids. Said you were terrified of all the things I told you that you did. You said you didn't understand the rage that could devour you. And you'd say, darling, sometimes I feel dangerous. Darkness stretching, no light nowhere, dangerous. When there's fighting in the factions, there's no decisions, just a set of reactions. We drove the camel-pelled country down the shimmering Hume to where your aunts rode trams in wisteria hue, and you set about hosing the tiles in your sticky soul. You weeded out those rotten roots from down in the marrow, taught the Union boys the power in the straight and the narrow. To them you were a father, a healer, a tower, a force. Your own father you couldn't talk too easily, to say there's something in you and I'm terrified it might be in me. So you grew up pushing it away. But I'm so proud of you, and my love is a monster, and luck that got you through. You weren't everything that belongs to you. Our kids will come round, they gotta find out for themselves. That darling, the truth is, sometimes it's dangerous. The darkness stretches, no light nowhere, dangerous. But there are floodlights hiding, waiting for us to do the deciding. There is hope under the heavy white tightrope. We're all walking over our brevity. There is bounty in the burden of freedom and never being certain. Dangerous. Dangerous.
I love that song. Thanks, Liz. The video for that song is so beautiful too. When is that based off of the story? I guess, but it's really moving.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's sort of. It plays off themes in it. Yeah. It's. I mean, my ultimate aim for every video of songs of mine is to not be in it. So I nailed that, and they're just three really, really good actors who kind of play out this family scenario, and the dad's really, troubled, and there's, but yeah, it's very beautiful. Yeah, Dylan Corbett is a great director who made it. He's very talented. Yeah,
I love that. Colin, you
I'm just like, yay! I was hoping you were going to play that. I was sitting because that song, you sing it from an Australian perspective, but I grew up with that. That's what I grew up with as well, and that was me on the other side of the world. So, thank you.
Yeah, well, it's I think that's why his that story stayed with me a lot, because I think those themes are a lot of people are familiar with them, and he'd been sober for so long, and he just had come through so much, turned around so much against all of the odds, and because all of the odds are stacked against men, particularly that generation, to do anything about it, and yeah, amazing man. Yeah.
Can I ask you both, as two sober people, is that true, Colin?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was last time we talked.
Yeah.
Has that changed your writing and your perspective on art?
I didn't start writing until I got sober. I was one of those drunks, addicts that were below the gutter. There was a space. There's the gutter, then there's a space below the gutter. So yeah. So for me, I've left a life over in Scotland. Nick Cave put it beautifully. Some people, we get to live two lives, and some people recognise they're living their second life. Some people don't, and I've been lucky enough to recognise that I'm living a second life and I'm taking it as much as I can and want it all, you know. So it's definitely.
Yeah, I enjoy writing. I just enjoy everything more now that I don't drink it, and it's just a lot easier. I have more energy, I have more concentration, and I have more access to myself. And I didn't have that when I was drinking heavily. So yeah, it's been, because you know the old adage about, like, I think that you do believe the bullshit a bit when you're I did, that, you know, you need to have some kind of drinking problem or some kind of addiction to be a real artist, you know.
Yeah, the suffering artist, the starving artist, all of that.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like, oh, let's get drunk and do stuff. I was like, let's just get drunk and sit somewhere and just smoke cigarettes and drink as much. You know, I wasn't a productive drunk at all, and I think so. It's been the greatest joy for me is being really enjoying making art again, and like really, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I love that.
I had no idea, and I had no idea, to be honest, what life would be like without it. I had no idea.
Yeah.
It was like, for me, it was like that whole thing, people going, are you having a glass of wine with dinner? And I'd go, a glass, like, you know, like, would you call it, you know? But I'd never had dinner, like, you know. That's the one thing I am very grateful for, is I can open up the fridge now and there's food there. I can go to the toilet and there's toilet paper if the kids haven't got there before me. But, like, you know, it's that thing, like, you know. So it's just one of those beautiful things that I've discovered, that you find a truer self, I think. A truer self.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I'll leave it to you, Colin. And do you want to give us a song?
Oh, thank you. I'd love to. So, a bit like Liz, I released an album in August, and everything just got locked down. And Sydney and Melbourne and Brisbane was tittering on this, that and the other, so I haven't been able to tour. But I wanted to do this song because it is a journey in itself. This song, funnily enough, came to life when I was on the road with my manager at the time, and I was telling the story about the first time I ever had a fisherman's friend lolly. You know, those really strong menthol lollies, and I would have been about 4. And I used to like going on adventures, walking on my own, and I guess I've always had that in me. But this old man at the end of the street used to watch me, and he called me over one day, Mr. Halliday, and I would go and have conversations with Mr. Halliday, and we'd discuss his life, and I'd sit and listen, and, you know, I'd sit and listen to his stories. And then one day he said, "Do you want a sweetie, Colin?" And he gave me a fisherman's friend, and I never went back again, because I thought he was trying to poison me because it was so strong. But the moral of the story is that I feel as we get older, we need to share more with the young and allow our wisdom and listen to the young, but at the same time share and just be as true as you can be. So this is called Fisherman's Friend. Explore the streets full of hope, revealing shoes of all souls, dulcet tones, clear life's smoke, a naive fascination to behold. Human fear wrapped up as a gift, time to trust your wanderlust. Mother and father set adrift, a naive fascination, yes it is. Looks so sweet, taste so sour. Wisdom comes at the witching hour. Looks so sweet, taste so sour. Kick down door to your ivory tower. Last is overcome by love. Moonlight replaced by the sun. Feels like time to cut the cord. You made it out the other side. Lives we lived in conversations. The deck of cards are tattered and torn. Tales are told of explorations, reminding us that we're home. Looks so sweet, tastes so sour. Wisdom comes at the witching hour. Looks so sweet, tastes so sour. Kick down door to your ivory tower. Won't you be my fisherman's friend? Won't you be until the end? Won't you be my fisherman's friend? Oh, until the end. Oh, until the end. Looks so sweet, tastes so sour. Wisdom comes at the witching hour.
Thanks, Colin. So great. Is that's from Shades of Love, right?
Yes, that's from Shades of Love.
When did that
Yep.
when did that come out?
So that came out in August. So, and I had a run of gigs, a bit like Liz. I had a whole load of gigs lined up to go, and then Sydney was in lockdown, but it's extended, and the dates came and went. Brisbane I had dates in Brisbane, but then it was like coming from Alice Springs, it just was so much of a journey across. That's one of the biggest things. And then Melbourne just hasn't until now opened up. So again, I think I'll be a bit like Liz. You can tour an album anytime. I think the world's going to be ready for the music. So I'm more than excited to share it when I'm meant to share it. You know.
Well, I mean, that's kind of my album came out in the end of 2019, so I was just beginning to tour it, so I can relate. But yeah, there's both of you released albums during like the darkest times. So I mean, the world appreciates that you've brought the music to everybody, and yeah, I mean that's kind of the reason that I did this, is because I haven't been able to tour and to see my friends and to connect with musicians in the same way that I normally would. So yeah, it's been a weird time.
This is a great idea, I think, and it's
I love it. Thanks.
When everything kicked off, I was like, I don't like the idea of online gigs, but then, then you just go, well, what's necessity's the mother of invention, and you just it's still great. It's still possible to connect with each other. So I mean, I really appreciate you doing this. I think it's a great idea.
It
And
feels
I appreciate just being able to connect with you, Catherine, again, and I get to hang out with Liz because I've always been on the other side of watching Liz, and that's so I'm looking to do it in real life. That's what I'm looking for.
That's the next step.
Yeah, that's the next step. But this is just as good. This is just as good.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
It's it is really nice to, especially like to do the songwriter circle kind of style, because it actually feels more like we're in a virtual green room than on a virtual stage. But
it does. And Colin is in a green room, so that's
I am.
perfect.
I mean, I didn't pick the colour. That was the wife that picked the colour. I mean,
I
she
love
picked
it.
the colour.
I love that colour. It's great.
Yeah, I thought, well, I'm not too sure about it, but then she put it up, and I had to go. Yeah, you were right. That was
and that piece of art behind you looks amazing on it too.
Yeah,
yeah.
We've got a couple like that. There's one of them that looks like a lady holding a ball of fire, which is just amazing. Like it's not. That's what I see, because the art here is. I like this stuff. I struggle with the more. The newer, the older stuff, but the newer stuff where it's young people being vibrant and changing the story.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
Totally.
Sorry.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'll do a song, and I was debating because it's fall, it's autumn here, and you're both going into it's spring. But then I was like, no, I'm not gonna do a fall song. Maybe later. But this is one from, I guess, my 2015 record, The Raven Sun. This is the title track. This is it's funny how songs kind of come and you don't always know exactly what you're writing about, and or at least I don't. And I just kind of I follow the string, like keep on pulling at the string until I get something. And this one has changed a bit for me over the last few years. I've moved recently, and suddenly, there's a river in this song, and suddenly I'm looking at that actual river every day. And so this is called The Raven Sun. I got my work all done. Now I can run with the raven sun. Spend all my days, watch the river run to the sea, to the sea. And somehow I fell for you. You know my heart is just a faithless fool. You're so good, but it can't be true. You got a love of your own. I can't ask to be forgiven anymore. It's time to even score. I always wanted more than I had. You know more of me than anyone can see. Well, it's time for me to leave. Find the love of my I cleaned up my act. I took the piles of bills and I paid the tax. And let the rain roll down
wash away all my sin. But you don't call these days. It's just as well, 'cause I am on my way to where my open heart can safely lay among the reeds and the rushes. I can't ask to be forgiven anymore. It's time to even the score. I always wanted more than I had. You know more of me than anyone can see. Well, it's time for me to leave, find a love of my own. But I got my work all done, and now I can run with the raven sun. Spend all my days, watch the river run to the sea, to the sea.
I love that song.
Oh,
Love that
thanks.
I
song
love
so
that whole
much.
record. I played
That's such a
that
good
to
record.
death. Yeah.
Oh.
I dug out this old guitar. I have been meaning, when I was busy on the road and stuff, I just would have my touring guitar all the time. And this used to be my touring guitar, but it was getting too fragile. It's like an old thing. And I realized it needs a little love. It's like not quite holding its tune, but it still
Sounds
makes
good.
me happy. But yeah, thanks guys.
Goose pimples all the way up there. The hairs were all standing up, so it's doing a good job for you, Catherine.
I miss this thing. It feels like home to me, And was it last fall or the year before? This piano came back to me, and it's like my childhood piano, and it has a similar feeling of like just like when I'm close to it, it's just like a hug. It sounds a particular way, and yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that, but it's just a feeling.
Yeah, I have this. I understand. I have the same thing with instruments,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I think that's.
Sorry.
I think that's the magic of what we do. Like, is it we just are not connecting with a melody or that we connect with the instrument, and the instrument helps us express ourselves even better. That acts that that whole amplification of what we're souls trying to say. I guess
Yeah, I feel like every instrument has different songs in it. Anyway, that's guitar talk. I used to always make fun of people for like guitar talk.
Hey.
My friend always says playing guitar is a great way to meet guys, but which is it's true. It's always like a certain type of person who comes up after
Yeah,
the
not
show.
necessarily the ones that you want to spend a lot of time with after shows.
No, not that kind of guy.
I don't know. I can't argue with that at all. I've got no argument there.
No, I've had crushes on plenty of guitar players. I shouldn't, but
Yeah.
we all know what we're talking about. There's
Yeah.
there's a difference between someone that plays guitar and someone that talks about guitars a lot.
Yeah,
They're not
exactly.
always. Those things can be mutually exclusive, I think.
Yes.
Look at that. I like that. Even they hang.
Well, maybe we'll
That's
leave
the
it there.
international sign for mutually exclusive.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is now.
Magic fingers.
Yeah. Let's leave
Liz-
it there. Yep. So.
Yeah. Do you want to take another song?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm going to play one that I wrote in Lunenburg, actually, Nova Scotia, near you there, Catherine. This is called Little Fears, Little Loves. I'm going to turn myself up here a bit. Hang on. was around my part of town, kicking up dust with my restless feet. Lot of time to think, even more time to drink, as I watch the autumn devour the heat. Little fears, little loves, it's never enough. Now I'm getting sick from this lukewarm blood. When we see who we are, every secret, every scar, it's only that moment that we'll feel love. Well, Sydney's on fire, so pretty it hurts my eyes, the jewel in our ever-rotting crown. I gotta get out, is that what it's about? If I stand on the edges, I ain't coming down. You gotta sail through the fear, push up from the pier, and watch as the headlands open up. When we see who we are, every secret, every scar, it's only that moment that we'll feel love. I was alone, I never felt better though. I was hoping the conversation wouldn't end. Like a bird from above, you swept me up, and we hung on the thermal's wings outstretched. Gotta sail through the field, push up from the pier, and watch as the headlands open up. When we see who we are, every secret, every scar, it's only that moment that we'll feel love. Oh, watch the headlands open up. It's only that moment that we'll feel love. Well, I was around, just kicking round town, cursing the chains of stability.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So you wrote that in Lunenburg. It feels like you were thinking about Sydney.
I was, yeah, Sydney, Australia, not
Yeah.
not Sydney,
Cape
Nova
Breton.
Scotia, Cape Breton. But yeah, I was. I just had spent about a month in Sydney earlier that year, and it had just been on my mind. Sydney's it's very beautiful city. Well, parts of it. If you're lucky enough to live on the coast, because the city kind of hugs the coastline, it's beautiful. But yeah, Melbourne has a problematic relationship with with Sydney. But yeah, I was thinking about this particular month that I spent there in summer, and it was beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the relationship between Sydney and Melbourne is a bit like Toronto and Vancouver.
And a bit like Glasgow and Edinburgh.
Yeah.
You know? I find that Edinburgh is very much like Melbourne, and you know, Glasgow's that sort of hard-working sort of place in certain areas, but yeah, the cosmopolitan thing, you know, cosmopolitan and working class.
I haven't only been to Glasgow. I haven't been to Edinburgh, so I'll have to
Me
change
too.
that.
I haven't been to. I've only been to Glasgow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realise they were so close together, which is my geographical ignorance. But I just hadn't looked at a map yet and was like, "What? It's 20 minutes down the road."
Yeah, 40 minutes on the train
40,
and 20 minutes on the it's like boom, there you go.
But I mean,
you know,
that's you know, Australia and Canada versus the UK and Scotland. It's like
Exactly.
tiny, relatively.
Absolutely. It's like one of those amazing things that you just, when you go home, you realise you can do so much in 24 hours back home, but when you're travelling here in Australia, it's really just travelling to one place, like especially if you're driving from Alice to Darwin.
That's right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's great.
I guess, Colin, for you, there's always a long drive to begin everything.
Yeah.
Or flight.
But I love it. I love it. I love the space. The space is the thing that, the space is just incredible. Like, you know, it's that whole, I think, coming over from the Gold Coast and then I saw the space, it just blew my mind. You could see the curvature of the planet and I just went, I'm nothing. So why am I worried about everything, like, you know, when I'm nothing, like, you know? But yeah, it took me a while to really let that sit. But space, I love it. I love the space. I love it.
Have you been enjoying the space of the world being shut down? Have you been writing?
I've been writing. I've done. I'm releasing a sort of country EP that, like, I did this the new singles off.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I did this thing that, you know, just because everything was going crazy, I said, well, I might as well write and record and take the opportunities to do things, like, and be as proactive as possible. And yeah, so I've just been. I think everybody's getting a bit fed up of me being around now. You know, I think the family's like, you've been here long enough. It's time to go on the road now. Hurry up, please. You know. But I feel a bit guilty saying that when Liz and everybody down in Victoria and Melbourne and that have been in lockdown for 350 years, like, you know. So it's like, it's just crazy.
We like hearing about the outside world.
I feel like I should be bringing a cake with a file in it. That's what I felt like I should be doing, just at the border, like, you know, with a file with, you know, trying to get you escape freedom. You know?
Has it been good in any way, Liz? I know it's been really tough and probably very depressing at times, but have you been writing?
The first really big lockdown, which happened last year, so because we didn't have a vaccine, the world didn't have a vaccine, so it was obvious, you know, Melbourne's a very big city by Australian standards and we needed to protect each other, so there was more of a sense of purpose about it, I think, and you know, I've always been very pro lockdown. I mean, my thing is, you know, lives in front of economy, and also, isn't it amazing how much money governments can find when the shit hits the fan? It's like, oh, whoops, there's a couple of $1 billion to actually look after your constituents. Unbelievable, you know.
I know.
But this year, particularly the one that started in August this year or late July, whenever it was, this one was hard because I think because of the gross mismanagement of the vaccination rollout in Australia, because of our apathetic / pathetic government, people are just angry, and there have been lives lost that needn't have been, and there's been a lot of hardship inflicted on people, and it just shouldn't. We should have been vaccinated 6 months ago. So I think, you know, now this year was really hard, but last year I wrote heaps, recorded heaps, learned how to record and produce sort of at home, and so I relished having some time in one place and with my family here, with my brother, and I have a little nephew who's just about to turn 7, who's hilarious, and we're, you know, really tight now, and that's great. But But yeah, now I'm sort of like Colin. I feel like I'm just like reaching that point where I don't know. I do love it, but I feel like if I don't leave soon, I'll just become institutionalized in this like inability to leave my own suburb. It's like I have to. Life needs to start now. So it couldn't have come at a better time for Melbourne, definitely. Like everyone was really over it, and terrible mental health issues, and you know, and as I've said, I will stop ranting about it in a second, but you know, it's just interesting. I mean, I have I was getting income support. I have a very supportive family. I'm fine. Lockdown's been relatively easy for me, but it's particularly difficult for people living in situations that are difficult, or sleeping rough, or you know, there's a whole. It's like I love that saying of it. You know, the pandemic. We're all in the same storm, but we're certainly not in the same boat. You know,
Yeah.
and I think it's been good for Melbourne to wake up and go, okay, a lot of us, like, we need to look after our own communities because we're okay. But now that we're okay, what does everyone else need? You know,
Yeah.
because it's not an equal playing field, is it? It's just not.
I got a bit frustrated when people were saying, you know, you're not alone. But it's like, but when I go to bed, I'm staring at the ceiling and I feel really alone. Like, you know,
Yeah.
that whole thing that, you know, that whole thing, oh, you're not alone. We are really, because it's our own thoughts that play havoc with us. You know, it's not
Yeah.
the thoughts of others or the behaviours of others. It's how we react to those. And that's
Yeah.
the battle that, like, you know, living in Alice Springs, there's a big sense of, like, being isolated and being, you know, on your own. You're self-reliant in that. And the lockdown, I guess, didn't really have any effect last year on us back. Because it wasn't as if, you know, apart from not working and travelling. But in an urban state and a way that, like, you know, like in the city or something like that, oh my God, that would be a nightmare. You know, because all we want to do is breathe. And I just feel that so many people were kept away from breathing because they were told to stay where you are, and it's like crazy. You know, I understand the lockdown's important, and I was all for it, but I just feel that we're going to have a generation of young people who are fearful and less resilient to how we might have been fearful and less resilient. You know, there's a level of resilience that they need to work on now, I think, and that's a community, that's government, and that's everybody, like, you know, and that's my worry, is how young people are going to come at the other end of this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, I watch my daughter who's just about 16. It's been a weird time, especially earlier it's been easier here on Prince Edward Island just cuz you know, you can only get here so many ways. So we were locked from the rest of the world, but it meant we had our freedom kind of here. But so many other, you know, people with kids at home in Toronto and trying to work and trying to teach their kids, and the kids not seeing other kids for long periods of times. And it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out over the next 10, 20 years, you know. We'll definitely have lots of stories to tell when we get old and we're in our rocking chairs. Like, I remember when. Colin, do you want to play another song?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to do a song that is all about Alice Springs for me, you know. This song I wrote whilst I was on the road, being away from home, and the boys were getting older, they didn't need me around as much, but there's one thing that always brought me back home no matter where I was, and when I say home I mean Alice Springs, and that's the smell of the rain, and this song's called Petrichor. Lost in the dust of a childhood dream, the young ones sit learning what has been, finding stories that were written in the stars, hidden in the wisdom of their fathers' hearts. Oh, 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 I can smell the rain There's a river not everybody knows, and that river, it rarely ever flows. But if you listen, you'll hear its sweet song. And when you need it, that river will guide you home. Oh, 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 I can smell the rain is coming. Oh, I can hear the water falling. And if you follow, then follow your heart. And if you follow, then follow your star. There's a morrow in everything you do, and the people may laugh and look down on you. Just remember, you're nobody's fool, and that river runs deep inside of you. I can smell the rain is coming. I can hear the water falling. And if you follow, then follow your heart. And if you follow, then follow your star. Your star.
Beautiful. So Petrichor, is that, remind me, that came out when we were doing the Global Music Match thing.
Yeah.
Is that the
Yeah.
word for the smell of the rain?
That's the word for the smell of the rain.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Is it?
I always wanted to know what that was.
I love it, and I remember because I spent a year in living in Broken Hill. I remember, like, it's a very special thing when it rains in a dry place.
Yeah.
I smell it here too. I mean, and now every time it's thundering and pouring rain and lightning here, I always I take a video and send it to Colin on Instagram because I'm like, I don't know how long since he's had rain.
Yeah, we've we sometimes, so when we first blended the family together, so my wife, she's Walpurgis, and the boys and that we're all mixed, and which is a beautiful thing. But for me, when it rains and I'd jump out in the backyard and take my clothes off, and I'd dance in the backyard naked, like, you know. And when the boys and that saw this going on, we were all running about. They were going, "Why are you doing it?" Because for me, I grew up in a place where it would rain all the time. You know, it would rain all the time.
Yeah.
You'd get up in the morning, it'd be raining. Like, so for me, when I smell that, it's one of those smells now that is like a lavender soap reminds me of my grandmother. You know, certain smells trigger off memories and that, but the smell of the rain, that is just one of the most exciting things, because it reminds me of where I've been and where I am and where I'm going. You know, and it's a blessing that you have, like, you know.
It's beautiful. Yeah. I'm going to jump right into the next song, and I just wanted to remind people who are watching or listening about the tip jar. There's a link somewhere, and to check out both Colin and Liz's most recent things on their websites / everywhere you can find them. But I thought, since my my partner Mark is away right now, and I'm kind of enjoying having the house to myself, which is something that has never happened. Even before Mark came to live here from Toronto, I had Isabel, and there was just never really. It's fine. It's a beautiful, there's lots of space in our house. We're very lucky where we live out in the country, and but it is nice to have a little bit of space to myself. But at the same time, I also miss Mark, because I'm SAP, and so I've been missing him, and can't wait till he comes back. So I'll sing him this song. This is kind of the song that started our relationship. We had known each other for years through music. He played guitar with David Francie, and that's how we met for years at festivals and shows and all kinds of things. And when we both happened to be single, we ran into each other in Toronto at a very small bar called The Local before I was about to play a show. And he, I asked if he'd like to come and see the show, do you want to hang out? And he was like, yeah, sure, of course. And in musician speak, that basically means that's very sweet of you, but I won't be there. So I did put a ticket aside for him, and he did show up, and I was so happy, more happy than I thought I would be. Something was kind of happening beneath the surface, and so we hung out after the show. My friend Tanya and I were playing that show together. We dropped him off. The next day I flew out back home to Prince Edward Island, and I think the very next day I sent him this song, and now he lives here. It's called Sweet By and By.
I've been sitting on this shoreline for days, and once I had the blues and once I lost them. I never did get the hang of all this change, but if you count the days like they're blossoms, you know it takes the cold to bring the heat. You can enter into any situation and know it's been the same since the very first heartbeat. Well, I met you on that day down at the Local, and I asked if you would come to see me sing, and you showed up like a prince among the pilgrims. You said you'd like to come and see me later in the spring, but the blossoms on the trees, they are all fading, and summer, it is fast approaching me. I got a list as long as that old highway of things that I must do and people I must see. And maybe in the summertime, when all the children are playing free and wild, you and I can sit outside, just watch the days roll by and by, by and by, sweet by and by. Well, I met you in the back room at the Local, your sister and her son. It was Mother's Day, how kind of you to mention. You must miss your mother still, who died when you were young. And I know you feel it too, the winds are changing. And I'm sad that it is time for me to go. But you're welcome anytime if you are lonesome. Just hop on to that next train, headed eastward bound. And maybe in the summertime, when all the children are playing free and wild, you and I can sit outside, just watch the days roll by and by, by and by, sweet by and by.
Beautiful. Love it.
Thanks.
I'm like, just, yeah, wow. What a nice song to sing. Just the, oh yeah, beautiful.
Thanks.
No wonder he moved in with you.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm thinking of offering like a co-writing service. If you're trying to attract the right partner.
Nice.
Could be a new app. Could be
Yeah.
a brand new app.
Yeah. I feel like I know it's really late for you both, so I think we should just keep rolling along with songs if that's all right.
Sure.
I love the weird time difference. Like I haven't had breakfast, and it's just so nice to wake up and like just go straight to work.
Yeah.
And then my day is like complete. I don't know what I'm going to do for the next 18 hours or whatever.
Okay, so this is a song called First Time Really Feeling. This is the title track from the record of the same name, obviously. That's what a title track is. Cool. And yes, this is about new beginnings. I'll call you when it starts to snow, when you're still deeply breathing. No matter how I come and go, it feels like I'm always leaving, and I move faster every time. My body is still reeling. The fear of losing your own mind, when it's the first time you really feel it. But if you tell me it's been a dream, I wanna go now, don't wanna be seen. Won't get in the way of anybody's heart. I just wanna get out before it starts. Don't hurt me, don't hurt me. You gotta stop calling me when you've got another sweetheart. I've been searching far and wide for someone to keep us apart. There'll be no tears, no jealousy. We won't owe each other nothing. That's the joy in possibilities. And if you get none, there ain't no fussing. But if you tell me it's been a dream, I wanna go now, don't wanna be seen. Won't get in the way of anybody anybody's heart. I just wanna get out before it starts to hurt me. Don't hurt me. I'll call you when it starts to snow, when you're still deeply breathing. No matter how I come and go, it feels like I'm always leaving. And love, it ain't a conscious thing, and my body is still reeling. The fear of losing everything, when it's the first time you really feel it.
That's so beautiful.
I just can't. Speech. Less. Just, yeah. I'm lucky.
Speech.
Less. I'm like, yeah. What talk, can you talk to us about that one? I want to know the story.
Well, yeah, it's kind of just about an old friend of mine who, I mean, it's mostly about getting sober and really, like, you know, understanding feeling the world properly. Yeah, and just I don't know. I don't really talk directly about who it's about, but it's just about it's about understanding myself a bit better, I guess. I don't know. It's getting a bit late for me now. I'm just like, I should have been in bed 2 hours ago.
We won't make you think anymore. We'll just get Colin to play us a song.
Ali. So this is the new single I just released off the Country Americana EP. I guess it's simply the war. I once knew a boy who fought a war, and he said in the pain and all he saw, and he told me a secret that shone so bright, that helped him through his darkest night. Oh, I once knew a boy who fought a war, and he taught me to stand and not to fall. You're not alone. Your dreams will show you your road. Don't let them go. Fight with the flame that you hold. I once knew a girl who fought a war, from raging fists and bloody more. So she ran and ran until one day that blinding light, it came her way. Oh, I once knew a girl who fought a war, and she taught me to stand and not to fall. You're not alone. Your dreams will show you your road. Don't let them go. Fight with the flame that you hold. Love is a secret to be told, installed by stars all around. And when times are rough and you need a friend, stars will shine again. Those stars will shine, my friend.
So great.
Beautiful.
Thanks,
yeah.
Colin.
Yeah, I got
What
my
is that?
books
What
here.
is that one about? You put Liz on the
Uh,
spot.
Yeah, that one was that I wrote that one after basically just the whole pandemic thing and just feeling that, you know, we are all a bit lost. And
Yeah.
a bit like Liz, I guess I have found the most amazing wisdom to come from the most strangest of places, from the most incredible children, old people, young people. And when that happens, it always surprises me because life is all about learning and growing. And I think when we forget that, that's when Colin, I'll speak about me in a third place, Colin basically might as well forget what he's doing. Because if I stop learning, you know, love is something, you know, that I didn't have a lot for myself. I didn't have a lot of love within myself. I didn't believe in love. I didn't think love was a good thing. Thought love was a bad thing. I used it. I abused it. And then I discovered true love. And I guess that's when I decided I wanted to change my life. You know, and when I mean true love, I found that in me, right inside, going through all the dark stuff and climbing out of the gutter and moving up and moving up. And, you know, so that's what the war is. That self.
It's a journey to
Yeah.
get there. It's a never-ending journey.
Which is frustrating because you want it to end. You want it, oh, when am I going to have a rest for this thing called life?
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, it's there we go again. So
Yeah. But we have songs to mark the passage, so. I'm just so grateful that you both are here and have joined me on this show. It's the third one. Next week I'm going to England, Lady Maid and Lucy Farrell, which I'm really excited about. So it's just been like so incredible that you both said yes. I when I finally had the list of all the people who were going to do these shows with me, I just couldn't believe my luck. I was like, oh, cool.
Well, thank you for asking me to do it. I mean, it's,
Yeah, I
it's
was
so great to see you.
You too, yeah.
I was so surprised when you put me on with you and Liz. I was just like going, what? You know, like a bit like, I'm a complete, like, so to give you, like, just, and I know we want to get to bed and stuff, but so you guys help with the new album Shades of Love. There's a song called the Sacred Sound, and I've always been like, with Liz, you've really inspired me as a songwriter, and when I got introduced to Catherine, that was just something. But the Sacred Sound is a song that's about people who inspired me, and yeah, so thank you for being
Aw.
teachers
Aw,
and
thanks.
mentors.
Thank
like, you know,
you.
thank you.
That
Thanks,
means
Colin.
a huge amount. Thank you.
That's such a nice thing.
It is.
Yeah. I feel filled up in all the good ways. And thanks to Guillermo for doing
Hey.
all the technical
Thanks, Guillermo.
stuff. And
Thanks,
also, congrats to Guillermo for joining the board of Folk Alliance. So now, all things Folk Alliance. I'm gonna be asking you lots of questions, Guillermo.
Hopefully, we'll see him. I'm going to try to head in February. I've got my tickets, so I'm going to try to fly.
Yeah. Where is it in?
Kansas.
Kansas again. Okay. Well, I'm probably not going to go this year. I have other things to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to leave it with, actually, I couldn't figure out what song to do, and then I realized my manager Sherry had asked if I would do this, I think last week. So it's a song of my dad's. I'm going to end off with that. Thanks to everybody for watching and for being part of this. It's a real joy for me, and I can't wait for next week. It's the last one. And yeah, if you have the ability, please add to the tip jar, and just being here or sharing this with other people on social media would be much appreciated as well. And go check out everything that Colin and Liz are doing. And I'm going to sign off with this song. This is by my dad, Gene MacLellan. It's called If It's All Right With You. There's a theme through the ages, I know every line, but it's hard to embrace, it's hard to define. Give me 99 reasons for changing my mind, and I'll give you another for being so blind. If it's all right with you, then it's all right with me. It's hard to unravel grass from the gravel. Think it's time to be moving to the North Country. There are places on earth where the poets give birth to the songs of the river, and where it should flow. Would it make any difference if anyone knew where this trail through the jungle is taking us to? If it's all right with you, then it's all right with me. When it's hard to unravel the grass from the gravel, think it's time to be moving to the North Country. There are kings in the land with their heads in the sand and their hearts in their hands, some rock and roll band. Don't they all look the same when you mention their names, and they try not to hear you while playing their games? If it's all right with you, then it's all right with me. When it's hard to unravel the grass from the gravel, think it's time to be moving to the North Country. When it's too hard to unravel the grass from the gravel, think it's time to be moving to the North Country. North Country. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks Colin Lilly, Liz Stringer. It's been a real blast, and hope to see you all again soon. Cheers.